Welcome to today's explainer. All right, I want you to close your eyes for just a second and picture this. You're sitting in a quiet, incredibly ancient cave. Right across from you is Zoran. He's a dragon who has literally watched civilizations rise and fall. And between the two of you, a fire burns low. But it's not just a normal fire. It's this mysterious, glowing blue-white flame. This is the cinematic world we're stepping into today, featuring a burnt-out human named Fletcher. Honestly, Fletcher is someone whose sheer exhaustion you might just recognize deep in your own bones. And today, with the help of his wise, ancient guide, we are completely leaving behind the diagnosis of burnout. We're stepping directly into the cure. Today, we're exploring the behavioral integrity protocols. Okay, let's dive into this. Fletcher has absolutely been through the ringer. He's been shown the storm of his own stress, the scars it's left behind, and this endless, exhausting loop he's stuck in. But now, that blue-white flame, it signifies that his nervous system is finally ready to learn something dangerous. It's that pivotal, unavoidable moment where just exposing the problem isn't enough anymore. It's time to actually fix it. So Fletcher looks at Zoran and asks the ultimate question. How do I actually change any of it? And Zoran's answer? Well, it isn't about trying harder. It's about a complete foundation reboot. And that brings us to Zoran's core revelation, behavioral integrity. Zoran looks at Fletcher and explains that his nervous system isn't some abstract woo-woo philosophy. It's a living, breathing, biological system. And systems, they don't change just because you understand them intellectually. They change because you behave differently. Now, Fletcher immediately assumes this means he needs to hustle more, right? More discipline, more grinding. But Zoran corrects him right away. It's not about discipline. It's about alignment. It's about making your daily life a stable, loving platform that actively whispers, you are safe to your body. Now, what's really interesting about this concept is the profound relief in it. I mean, for years, we've all been led to believe that if we burn out, we're just lacking willpower. We're just weak. But attempting to reboot your internal systems while actively feeding them chaos, that's biologically impossible. Most of us fail not because we lack drive. We have plenty of drive. We fail because our everyday behaviors are fundamentally waging a war on our own biology. You literally cannot muscle your way out of a nervous system collapse. You have to align with it. So let's move into section 1, the 3 pillars. Every stable nervous system rests on these. To really explain this alignment, imagine Zoran raising this massive ancient claw, and he conjures the first glowing symbol right there in the air of the cave. Physiological safety. Zoran tells Fletcher a hard truth. The body simply cannot heal in a state of threat. We have to remove what Zoran calls unnecessary tigers. And let's be honest with ourselves. Most of our tigers today, they're imaginary. They're just passive-aggressive Slack messages and 1 a.m. doom scrolling. By removing these modern micro-stressors, reducing that massive sensory overload, and actually stabilizing our sleep, we finally stop the body from treating a random Tuesday afternoon like a life or death scenario. You know, we so often treat physiological safety like it's a spa day, right? Like it's some luxury for burnt-out creatives who finally get to take a vacation. But as Zoran powerfully argues, you cannot build a cathedral on an earthquake fault, nor can you build a coherent mind on a chaotic life. This isn't a luxury. It is a hard, unyielding biological prerequisite for any real transformation. If the biological ground is literally shaking beneath you, any beautiful cathedral of the mind you try to build is 100% guaranteed to collapse. Next, Zoran draws a circle in the air, and it glows like this slow turning moon. Introducing Pillar 2, predictable rhythms. We humans love to rebel against routine, thinking it stifles our freedom or our creativity. But guys, our biology is deeply, deeply rhythmic. We operate on very real circadian and ultradian clocks. Routine isn't a punishment. It's not a cage. It is a comforting embrace. It's the essential scaffolding that holds our frazzled minds together, offering literal medicine for a terrified, dysregulated system. And here is exactly what that medicine looks like in practice. Consistent wake times, regular meals, actual exposure to natural light. Now contrast these quiet, steady biological needs against our modern reality. We stay up way too late bathing our retinas in blue light, we skip lunch to hustle, and we just blur every single boundary. This modern chaos directly destroys our nervous system stability because it completely robs the body of the predictability it desperately needs to finally exhale and let its guard down. And this brilliantly illustrates the need for the third glowing symbol, honest boundaries. Now, Fletcher is super surprised by this one. Boundaries, isn't that just like a trendy buzzword for therapists? But Zoran delivers this heavy, undeniable truth. Boundaries aren't just psychological preferences or self-care trends. They are biological necessities. Your biology actively collapses when your everyday behavior constantly betrays your inner truth. Just think about the quiet heartbreak of overcommitting or people-pleasing or pretending you're totally fine when you are completely hollowed out inside. Every single time you say yes when your body is screaming no, your nervous system registers a massive threat. Why? Because the body interprets this self-betrayal as a total loss of safety, control, and agency. There is absolutely nothing that breaks down your biological organism faster than living out of alignment with your own soul's limits. All right, moving into section 2, the 5 protocols. These are the practical, everyday habits that actually stabilize the nervous system. To actually apply these pillars, Zarin unfurls his vast wing, revealing 5 glowing symbols shining across the membrane. Protocol 1 is the 10-minute morning reset. And notice the absolute strictness here. This must happen before screens, before emails, before giving a single ounce of your energy to the outside world. By hydrating, breathing slowly, seeing real natural light, and gently moving first thing in the morning, you drastically lower your morning cortisol spike. You are actively choosing to start your day anchored in safety rather than immediate, scrolling-induced panic. Protocol 2 is all about honoring your brain's natural clock, the 90-minute work cycle. Your brain isn't a machine. Actually, scratch that, it is a machine, but one that runs on very specific ultradian rhythms. By working with deep focus for 90 minutes and then intentionally resting for 15, you completely bypass that fried, scattered anxiety that comes from staring at a monitor for 4 hours straight. You finally gave your brain's default mode network permission to power down and recover. Next up is Protocol 3, the evening downshift. For 2 whole hours before sleep, yes, 2 hours, you must actively signal safety to your nervous system. Dim the overhead lights. Put away the highly stimulating screens and intentionally avoid any heavy conflict. You literally cannot sprint at 100 miles an hour until 11 p.m. and expect your brain to instantly power off just because your head hit a soft pillow. You have to purposely build a gentle off-ramp for your biology. So, the crucial point is how we handle our inevitable missteps, which brings us to Protocol 4, the boundary audit. Once a day, you need to look in the mirror and ask yourself, with radical, unflinching honesty, where did I abandon myself today? Did you swallow your feelings just to keep the peace at your own expense? Identify that self-betrayal, offer yourself absolute unconditional forgiveness, and then commit to correcting it tomorrow. It's just a daily recalibration of your biological boundaries. Finally, Protocol 5 is for those moments you inevitably get triggered during the day, the micro-recovery habit. The very second overwhelm hits, do these 4 things exactly in order. Exhale longer than you inhale. Relax your jaw. Drop your shoulders. Soften your belly. There is hard, undeniable science here. This exact sequence physically activates your vagus nerve and forcefully interrupts your fight or flight loop. It's a literal manual override for a panicked system. Now, Fletcher looks at these protocols and kind of smirks. I mean, sleeping well, setting boundaries, it doesn't sound very glamorous or mystical, right? It doesn't seem dragon-worthy. But Zoran leans in, the fire reflecting intensely in his ancient eyes, and delivers a profound, grounded warning. It is the most dragon-worthy thing you will ever do. Because without this unglamorous, foundational, everyday safety, absolutely nothing else holds together. Let's move to and see how this builds. Because the consequences of ignoring that warning are incredibly severe. If you try to chase huge career goals or do deep psychological work without establishing behavioral integrity first, your attention will leak. Your biology will actively resist the changes. Your mind will literally sabotage your own process. Attempting inner transformation without stabilizing your physical organism first isn't just difficult, it is biologically and mathematically guaranteed to collapse. Which brings us to Section 3, the 24-hour reset, a simple experiment that reveals the true power of alignment. Zoran tells Fletcher that Phase 2 is coming, but first he offers a challenge, one that we are passing directly onto you through this explainer. Take these 5 protocols and apply them strictly for just one single 24-hour cycle. It's a pure experiment in moving from chaos to alignment. And at the end of that day, ask yourself this provocative question. How did my nervous system feel today compared to yesterday? As that blue-white fire brightens in Zoran's cave, we're going to leave you to see what it actually feels like to finally be a safe, stable organism. We'll see you in the next explainer.